you're an interesting case because you had a profession before you went into politics. You were a teacher. So in theory, I mean, there's a lack of teachers in the country. People will think, well, he could easily go back to that. But from what you've said in this article, it's not quite that simple.
No, look, I think when I left, or when I was sacked by the electorate, to be more blunt and honest about it, I could go back and could have applied for a number of teaching jobs, but really wanted actually to spend time working in the public policy space. I suppose something that's not known about me is that I think it was 6 or 7 private members' bills I put down, one which went all the way through, which is extending the auto-enrolment of pensions, one around increasing fines on rogue and absent landlords, another one about increasing the inspection of bad multi-academy trusts, and actually saw some of the ideas have been picked up by the current Labour government, which I'm pleased to see. So I was hoping to sort of go into public affairs, public policy space and try and continue to campaign on issues, particularly on mental health, something that's personal to myself, particularly around improving sick pay, which I've done with the Centre for Progressive Change, which Labour again have adopted most of in their employment rights bill that Angela Rayner's pushing, and to continue about talking about the levelling up agenda. But it's been challenging for myself and many colleagues across the House, and I'm sure that this was no different for Labour MPs in 2019 who would have been unfairly sacked by their electorate due to the performance of Jeremy Corbyn.
Of course, your seat had been Labour for a long time before you won it. You must have realised that you probably weren't going to win in July last year, but it's difficult to prepare for that, isn't it? Because if it gets round that you're looking for alternative work, that's not going to look good either, is it?
No, exactly. And look, I was pretty confident that we could retain the seat, but it was after Liz Truss, it was perfectly apparent that the Conservative Party brand had been completely torched and tarnished. And it was about January 2023 I knew and started mentally preparing the reality before me, which was I was going to fight tooth and nail. I was going to do everything I could. I was hoping that Rishi would be able to turn things around, but obviously we weren't able to. And so therefore I was able to mentally prepare for the result on the night. And my successor, David Williams, who's the new Member of Parliament for Stoke North, and I've had met up, have done handing over of casework and hand over a couple of campaigns. I'm proud that he's continuing, particularly on Charlotte's Law, which is about improving the quality of victims getting justice when they've been hit or a family member of theirs has been killed by a drink or drug driver. In the case of Charlotte Sky Naglis that we had in Norton Green during my tenure as a Member of Parliament. So I was able to. I don't think what I wasn't mentally prepared for was just how difficult it was going to be to even get interviews in some cases in the workspace. And you've talked a lot about mental health in the last segment, which I think is really important. And indeed in this one, this will be relevant as well. I've been open with my own challenges, depression for most of all my adult life and most of my teenage years as well, which I'm fortunate enough I've always been able to have the love and support of my family and loved ones around me. But like you say, it's the fact that not having... I've done some consultancy, I'm doing a bit of freelance, but I haven't got anything permanent yet. And obviously I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I've got a wife who's made incredible sacrifices in her own career to support my dream and ambition of being a Member of Parliament and serving the constituents of Stoke-on-Trent North. And now that uncertainty, of course, adds pressure, particularly at a time when, family and friends and you want to give them gifts and presents and everything. You do feel it's tough. It's tough. But, I'm a big believer. My grandfather always told me, you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep putting yourself out there and eventually something will come up.
Several people are asking on text here, well, what redundancy do MPs get?
So it was increased over my tenure. It used to be 2 months' salary. It went up to 4 months. And that got paid in one lump sum at the end of July due to the fact the election was in July. And then you get a redundancy loss of office payment, which is statutory redundancy times 2. So, of course, I'm fortunate to have had a decent payout, as it were, which obviously we've spread out. But you can obviously only spread that so far, so thinly when you've got your standard household bills and, in my case, young children to look out for. And I'm not one of those that believes you should sit and rest on your laurels. I'm not someone who believes you should go on a holiday. I think Matt Warman in the piece that you referred to did quite a good comment when he says it seems a bit weird to go on a holiday whilst unemployed. So, I've been out there working on my CV, putting in applications, meeting people, pressing the flesh in the hope that something will come up. And as I say, I've been fortunate to have a little bit of consultancy and freelance work, but obviously, like anyone, would like the comfort of having something more permanent.
So you're not going to go back to teaching?
It's certainly on the cards. I've not ruled out entirely, but I would like, as I say, love to go into the public policy space. I'd love to look at how we can improve policy regardless of party politics. I'd work with anyone, any organisation to see where we can find things. It's what I enjoyed doing when I was in Parliament. As I say, introduced 6 or 7 private members' bills, 3 of which went onto the statute books, 2 adopted by the government, 1 that I was fortunate enough to get passed all the way through, and that was the pension auto-enrolment. And I think myself as a campaigner, yes, I was loud. Yes, I was proud. Yes, I fought hard for the things I believed in. I'm not sorry for that. But obviously, maybe for some, I was too loud and too proud.
Well, I mean, there were quite a few texts coming in along those lines, Jonathan, if I'm honest.
No, and it's fine. And people are entitled to their opinion. And obviously, I'm not going to apologise for standing up for my constituents or my beliefs. I think, if anything, people want conviction politicians. And you don't have to agree with what I say. And some people do, some people don't. But at the end of the day, I thought we wanted politicians to be genuine and authentic. And I think that I was always true to myself. Of course, I could have been slightly more polished at times and maybe not willing to be in the forefront of every fight for the Conservative Party, as I probably was maybe overly eager to do. But, I believe in my party. I believed in the causes I was fighting for. I believed in the area that I was standing up for. And I felt that they needed a strong voice. And I am who I am at the end of the day.
Oh, you could be a Shirley Bassey impersonator.
I don't know how good I'd be at that, but I might. You never know. I might start practicing in front of the mirror later today.
Do you get any pastoral care from the Conservative Party? Because I know in previous decades, when MPs have lost their seats, there is an attempt for the party to sort of put their arm around people. But when there's 175, that's just not possible, is it?
So I've not had anything directly from the party, albeit we can reach out and engage if needs be. But actually, Parliament themselves obviously have access to the health and wellbeing, which is available, I think, all the way through to May next year. So almost 12 months of access to support, particularly around mental health, if needed or required. As I say, I've sort of dealt with those challenges a lot. I'm fortunate enough that I've got someone I can work with if needs be, but most importantly, I've got an incredible family. Mum, dad, wife, in-laws who are all rallying around me and supporting most importantly our family, and that's what I'm incredibly grateful for at the end of the day. And very good friends who have been very supportive as well. So, as I say, it's like you've said, it's not about a sob story for MPs. There's many people across the country who have done the most bravest thing of all, I think, started up businesses. Some have succeeded, some haven't, and they've still got themselves off the floor and kept going one foot in front of the other. And I think that's more heroic. I just think for MPs, as you say, we're in a different era where maybe 20 years ago, it was something that was desired. It was expected that you'd walk onto the board of some big FTSE 100 company. I think we're in a very different space. I think maybe having worked in politics isn't as desirable, because with that comes some level of controversy in terms of who you've supported or what views you've exposed or espoused. So, it is what it is. But I think as long as there's good people around you and there's help available, I think you can get through anything in life.